Shalom, Yahawah, Shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, peace and salutations to those for elect. I want to start off in 1 Peter chapter 5 and 8. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." So y'all understand that in this walk, we have adversaries, and most people understand the main adversary is Shaitan. And through him, he works through other spirits, he works through people in order to devour the elect. The entire American public and many other countries all throughout the world are essentially about to be devoured. You know, y'all brothers know I did that video last week in regards to the government shutdown and how SNAP benefits weren't going to be running or be funded for the month of November. And there was a lot of hullabaloo around that. Well, there's also another aspect of what's going on with the governmental shutdown for those of y'all who have been paying attention. And the reason why I want to get the scriptures is because you got to be very vigilant. You got to see a lot of the moves that the people who run this society are running on the people, because if not, you're going to become a part of it until they do that ultimate move, which is to get people to essentially take the MOTB, the mark of the beast. So I want to start with this video because those of y'all brothers who've been keeping up with the news, there's been a lot of issues regarding, the travels. With a lot of major airports, there have been a shortage of air traffic controllers. For those of y'all who don't understand what that's talking about, whenever you have, your plane, let's say you're going on a plane, you're going from, California to New York. When the plane is in line to prepare to launch, they're talking with traffic communicators who essentially show the planes when they can fly, when they can stop, or when they can land within the airport. They have constant communication because while planes may have a navigation system, they're essentially flying blind, or they don't have a full understanding on where the planes are coming in and coming out. So you have people within those air traffic towers who communicate to the planes on the ground that they can fly or that they can land. And these are not employed by the airport, they're employed by the government, which y'all brothers understand is shut down due to them not coming to an agreement on the budget, which is really just a debt budget. So a lot of these different airports do not have controllers because they're quitting, because they're not getting paid, but due to them being an essential worker, they're not making any money, but they're forced to work. So a lot of these different airlines are starting to have massive delays. Let's look at this video and it'll explain it to you.
This is insane. I mean, it looks like I will miss my flight.
But I do understand, the shortage in staff and the why, but it's just very inconvenient for all passengers.
We're seeing long lines, flight delays, and cancellations at airports around the country as the government shutdown has now dragged on for more than a month. Those air travel issues are piling up, and officials say this is only going to get worse. Hello, I'm Christine Pitawanich, tracking your latest headlines. Federal workers at airports across the nation are feeling the pressure. TSA workers and air traffic controllers are considered essential staff and must work during the government shutdown despite not getting paid. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said some air traffic controllers have called in sick in protest. Others are taking time off to work other jobs until paychecks restart. We've seen ground stops at airports like LAX and Nashville. At Newark Airport in New Jersey, there have been hours-long delays. And in Houston, at times, security lines spilled over outside the airport. At one point, the wait at TSA checkpoints was more than 3 hours long. Hugo Gianluca spoke to travelers in Houston about their frustrations.
All right, so that's crazy. She said 3-hour flight delays. So, obviously we're in the month of November, which, the people of the world are seeing as the beginning of holiday season. Obviously, you had Halloween, which y'all brothers understand the demonic aspect of those holidays. So now we're going into the aspect of quote unquote Thanksgiving. I don't know specifically, but, my mom, she had some time off, and my job, they're giving us time off for the holiday. So I was going to have her come through and, just spend time with me. But, we're talking about it, seeing a lot of this news and delays and stuff like that may not happen. Now, for me, I understand the nature of what's going on a spiritual level. I understand what's happening with the government. But for the average person who just wants to see their family, wants to go back home for the holidays, they're already stressed out about the economy, they're stressed out about debt, they're stressed out about credit cards, stressed out about their kids, them not being able to see their family is going to have an emotional effect on them. And let alone if this doesn't, essentially correct itself, you already know by the time of Christmas, people love Saturnalia, but they gonna be losing their damn mind if they don't get to see their family. So it's more than just, I can't fly, I can't have business. There are a lot of people who are gonna be emotionally and psychologically affected by this, and it's all gonna go back to who? The government. And who is the political figurehead of the government? Donald J. Trump. So not only is it just gonna, allow people to deal with a lot of their issues, but a lot of them are gonna become enraged against the governmental system that's been set up.
Got here early, and am I glad I did. Look at this mess.
A mess indeed. Houston airport officials are urging passengers to get here early. This KHO11 viewer listened to that advice.
You got here 4 hours before your flight. Why is that?
Saw on the news at 6 a.m. KHOU that it was going to be a 3-hour wait. So here we are.
Long security wait times could last as long as the federal government is still shut down due to staff shortages. Some travelers underestimated just how bad it would be.
I think we're going to miss the flight.
How do you feel about that, sir?
Terrible. We're so concerned about it.
What was your reaction when you saw
All
it?
right, so I don't want to keep going through these people, but another thing I want y'all to understand is that the government, they essentially had to reduce the number of flights due to the shortage of airport staff and traffic controller staff. So let's get some on that.
Start tonight with breaking news. Good evening. I'm Chris Thomas. Dozens of airports across the nation could see thousands of flights canceled as soon as tomorrow.
Yeah, this information just into our newsroom. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Laura Painter. It all comes amid the longest government shutdown in U.S. history.
Tonight, ABC News obtained an exclusive list of the airports that could be impacted and includes many locations in California and Nevada.
So take a look. San Francisco International Airport is among the 40 or so airports impacted, including Oakland, Los Angeles, San Diego, and Las Vegas. Not on the list, though, Sacramento.
Tonight, American Airlines released a statement saying, in part, while we are awaiting additional information from the FAA to determine which flights will be impacted, we expect the vast majority of our customers' travel will be unaffected.
All right, I ain't finna go through all this. I wanted to get an actual article that shows the implications of what's going on, because I literally sent it to my mom. All right, so this is what I wanted. This is the gusto, right? It says travelers face mounting delays as flights canceled nationwide due to government shutdown. What to know about FAA cuts to flights in the U.S. The Federal Aviation Administration ordered airlines to cut thousands of flights across the U.S. ahead of this weekend as the agency deals with shortages of air traffic controllers during the longest shutdown in history. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy and FAA Administrator Brian Badford announced that the Trump administration would cut 10% of flights at 40 high-impact airports. So that includes DFW, Dallas, it includes International Houston, it includes Miami, it includes Fort Lauderdale, it includes the New York airports, it includes the Chicago airports. Y'all brothers can go online and look at the list, but essentially those major traffic airports, Atlanta, Boston, stuff like that, they're having to cut down 10% of the flights, right? So 1 out of every 10 traveler is not going to be able to fly, or they have to cancel and reschedule, right? Let's continue on. It says airlines cut 4% of Friday's flights at those airports, that's yesterday, and are expected to ramp up to 10% next week. Duffy said Friday that the government's flight cuts could increase to 20% should the shutdown drag on. What does that mean? Not only does it mean that people aren't going to be able to travel and fly, but a lot of these different companies, United Airlines, American Airlines, JetBlue, whatever, they're going to be losing profits, and they're already going to fall behind on their flight schedule. Because the reason why you can go on your flight schedules and see 5-6 months down the line is because they've already scheduled these flights in advance. So y'all understand, when there's a shortage of flights and when there's a shortage of air travelers and controllers, the prices are going to go up. So it's just going to cause more strain on the people of this country. And again, it's all going to go back to who? To the government, specifically to the Trump administration, because the Democrats and the Republicans cannot come with an agreement. Why do you think Hamashiach said a nation divided against itself cannot stand? And the reason why I want to bring this out is because, yes, these things are they probably do genuinely not like each other. There are probably Democrats who genuinely don't like Republicans. But when you understand the greater agenda, you understand what they're going for when it comes to the New World Order, when it comes to Hegelian dialectic. Order out of chaos. And a lot of the chaos that's happening in this country, it goes back to the governmental structure, the governmental system that they want people to lose faith and lose trust in. People trust the government. People trust the dollar. A lot of them trust in white Jesus in their false religions. So remember, the one world order wants one governmental system, one religion, and they want one currency. So they have to strip trust, they have to strip faith, and they have to strip the value of each in order for people to come into their agenda, which is the beast system that we've read about in Revelation chapter 13, Daniel chapter 7. We can keep going on and on. So that's the flying aspect. Now let's get back into the snap aspect.
And late tonight, the Supreme Court granting an emergency appeal from the Trump administration, blocking payments to millions of Americans on food assistance programs like CalFresh. CBS LA political reporter Tom Wade is here to break down this ruling and to give us updates on the government shutdown and, of course, the meltdown at our airports, Tom.
Yeah,
we got a lot of problems.
We have so many problems right now. On the SNAP payments, CalFresh, this could change hour to hour. So we're told tonight, and I'll get more into it, there could be a ruling from the circuit court, which now gets this case back because of the Supreme Court ruling. Gets real wonky, but they could issue a ruling at any time. So yeah, a lot going on there. So yeah, if you do get food stamps from California, your card may have been reloaded in the past day or two, but it's unlikely any more payments will be made over the weekend. And that's because, as Pat was just talking about, the Supreme Court sided with President Trump, who asked the court to block the new payments. It's the latest chaos because of the government shutdown, including our airports.
All right. So again, and I'm not going to click on this video, but massive fraud. Trump administration sounds the alarm on SNAP. So think about the trajectory of this, and you got to understand the poison of the wicked. They've been having this governmental shutdown for over a month, and now I think a week, right? They had all this time. Trump got in office January, I forgot what day, maybe the 20th or something, 15th, whatever. Bro, you had 10 months to go and figure out where the fraud was when it came to SNAP, right? Food stamps. Why is it that they're waiting until the government doesn't want to come up with a budget to keep the system running, and now Trump is like, okay, let's hold it? Because first and foremost, the Republicans and the Democrats can't come up with, a bill through Senate. And now they're trying to find emergency funding. You have certain judges saying, nah, Trump needs to essentially rule in favor of funding because people are going to starve. People's babies are not going to be able to eat. And then now you have the Supreme Court, which is another judicial system, saying, no, we're going to pause that. Again, confusion from every which way. Nothing but confusion. Let's get a scripture on that. All right, so here's the verses. It's 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 20 says, but for all these things they will not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, meaning easy access, cheap and easy access, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils begin to grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So you see the plagues of the sword with the different nations. You see the plague of the famine. Now, it's not a literal famine where people do not have food that they can grow from the land. But at the same time, people are going hungry because they don't have any avenues to eat. You see, the way that we used to cultivate and get our food and from crops, it has been changed to getting our food from the grocery store. So if they limit our access to money, if they limit our access to be able to find and purchase land, then the curse of the famine is going to be when we can't afford to go into stores to be able to buy food, which is also going into inflation. Again, y'all understand the curse of inflation and how things are becoming so expensive to buy food is ridiculous. And lastly, the curse of great confusion. We have all these different governmental structures ruling against one another. Essentially, it is a curse of the Most High for us to not have competent people within the government to keep things moving forward. And that is another way that the Most High will curse a land and weaken a land, is when you have terrible leadership, which is what we're seeing right now. So again, it is planned because they do want to have order out of chaos. Y'all understand that with, AI, with robotics, with artificial intelligence and things like that. But also at the same time, the incompetency of our leaders is also the Most High putting a curse to allow this land to be destroyed. So the reason why this is so important, it ties back into 1 Peter, because you have to be able to see these things and you have to be vigilant. And you can't put your faith on these people. Let's get some more scriptures. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. It says, verse 4, But ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. So when you're watching these things, you shouldn't be surprised that these things are coming upon you. Now we understand he is talking about the day when Yahawashi returns. But again, the biblical timeline of prophecy is that we will go into Jacob's trouble, which is the great tribulation, where there'll be famine, plagues, pestilences, war against one another. So we're heading into those times. And quite honestly, I truly believe that within the next 2 years, the type of lifestyle that we can live in America, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be very hectic and chaotic. I can promise you that. Let's keep going. It says, Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. So again, don't be asleep. Don't be distracted. Don't take your mind off of prophecy, but pay attention to what's going on. Now, you don't want to allow it to overcome you with fear and angst and restlessness. But at the same time, anybody who's abiding in the word and being moved by the spirit is going to be watching these things. Because if you think that the Most High is just going to watch over you and take care of you to the point where you don't have to even pay attention, which is following his words, then that's you being deluded. You see what I'm saying? The Most High will take care of you and watch over you, but at the same time, you have to be watchful and abiding in the words of his son. So, brothers have to be watchful on the spiritual, most importantly on the spiritual, but also just understand many of the things that are coming, because the people of the government, they don't care that you can't get on a flight. They don't care that your family can't eat. They don't give a shit. They gotta abide in their orders, and they understand what the powers that be want to do to this land. So if you think for a second that these people are your friend, that these people are trying to relieve you and assist you, they're just a serpent, they're a snake, and they want to see you wither and beg for mercy and beg for them to essentially undo a lot of the things that are happening to the American people. And this isn't just people who rely on the government, but let's look at this video, because this is probably the most glaring of them all. So y'all brothers know I've made a couple videos in response to this guy, Clear Value Tax. Now you have to understand, guys who speak on the economy, they're always gonna have a very doom and gloom aspect. But if I'm just being honest with you, the economy, there's nothing really to be excited about because of what's coming with AI, robotics, and things like that. So now that the dust is unsettled and all the things that have been coming on for the last 4 to 5 years are really here in your face today, let's look at what this brother is talking about.
The official jobs reports by the U.S. government is supposed to be released the first Friday of each month, which is today. However, because the U.S. government is shut down, the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, is not releasing the jobs reports. So essentially, they're not doing their job. But there are other private sector reports and data points that we can use to see the health of the U.S. labor markets. And I just want to warn you that it is not a pretty picture. And this is very important because the Federal Reserve is going to rely on this data to make their interest rate decision in December, which we're going to get into. So listen, as I warned you, the situation is very bad right now. In October, there was a massive spike in job cuts. This is according to the Challenger reports, which we've actually been covering for all of 2025 as a supplement to the jobs report from the U.S. government. So let's take a look at that report and see what's going on. In October, US-based employers announced 153,074 job cuts. This is up by 175% compared to October of last year. The previous month had 54,064 job cuts. And again, this month, it's a whopping 153,000. So that's a huge spike up. Okay, why are these layoffs just shooting up like this? What's going on? The report cites AI adoption, a weakening consumer, softer corporate spending, and rising costs.
All right, so look, this is nothing new. The reason why people are getting cut from their jobs is because AI is being adopted. I was talking to a brother, we was talking about my old job when I was driving trucks. And I don't know how true this is, but he was saying that the people who relay the message to the drivers and they communicate where they're gonna go within their route, he says that a lot of the people who are usually there have been severely cut down. Now, I don't know if that's like a one-time thing, they just didn't show up at the office, but I'm not really shocked because I mean, there's a lot of reports saying that 20 to 30% of the labor force can be gone within the next year or two. By 2030, 80 million jobs are gonna be cut. So look, this is just the reality. You know, I'm not here to tell y'all brothers something sweet because y'all would be in delusion. And the Most High will put that blood on my hands. AI is coming, it's already here. And now that it's being adopted by these companies, regardless of how competent the AI is, they're here to replace you. And they're here to replace you so the companies can make money, but more than that, so prophecy can be fulfilled. Why is that? Let's get it. Daniel chapter 7:7, it says, "After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible." So when you look at this chapter, the four beasts was the Babylonian Empire, the Perso-Median Empire, the Greek Empire, right? And then the fourth was the Roman Empire. And we understand that the United States is just the Roman Empire reincarnated, right? So the characteristics of the fourth beast was that it would be dreadful and terrible, meaning people would hate this beast. People would hate the system. And it was exceedingly strong. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and break in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. Now, this system has been devouring and breaking in pieces people of the other nations, and of course our people within the nation. That's very obvious. But now the beast is turning its sword against its own people. And that's why, essentially, when you look at AI, it's going to break people's will. I promise you. Because people, they have to find a way to make money, have to find a way to take care of themselves, take care of their children. And if you can't survive because you don't have a job, your will is going to be broken. They want to break the will of the people. That way, they can allow you to come into whatever system they have, because it's about control. It's about really just having power over your soul. Let's read the rest of it. It says, "It devoured and broke in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it," meaning it was diverse in how cruel and how wicked and how powerful it was. And it says, "And it had 10 horns." So I don't want to keep reading over the same scriptures every week, but Revelation chapter 17 speaks about how the deadly beast, or Revelation chapter 13 speaks about how the beast had deadly wound was healed and it was reinvigorated. So now when we look at these reports and we're seeing how people are being cut off in October, which y'all brothers understand this is the holiday season. Y'all brothers understand that this is the time when a lot of these companies are supposed to hire more people. The reason why they're not is because people have been getting cut off from their jobs for the last year or two, and AI is steadily integrating in a lot of the other aspects and roles that most people would have. So anybody doing customer service, anybody doing admin work, anybody doing tax work, anybody doing paralegal work, you probably got about a year to 2 years before your job is fully replaced. Unless you're just at a very small company and they're merciful, you're gonna be replaced. And that's where the Most High's favor has to come in, because the rich and the poor, the free and the bond, they're not only gonna be forced to take the mark of the beast at a certain point in time, but they're gonna have to go through the things that are gonna make people want to take the mark of the beast, which is a lack of livelihood. So you have AI adoption, then you have softening consumer, meaning the consumers, the people who spend money, they don't have as much money to buy stuff. So with them not buying stuff from corporations, the corporations feel like they don't need to hire people to work those jobs. And it says corporate spending. We understand that's the corporate budget. And then it says rising costs drive belt tightening and hiring freezes. So rising costs is coming from what? Tariffs, global instability, inflation. Brothers, I want y'all to look at the AI adoption, softening consumer and corporate spending, and rising costs, and let me know if you think those things are gonna go down or are gonna go up. So what is this telling you? This is a sneak peek, a sneak preview of what's going to happen. Shit's not changing. You're gonna need a miracle for things to change. Okay? So understand this. It's just the truth. So I want to end it on that, but most importantly, I want y'all to look at this comment, right? You know, it says, not a great sign, retail is cutting jobs in October. Damn, we didn't even get to take care at the end of the video. That's how bad it is. But this is the main thing right here. It says, I love how the world goes to shit when it's my turn to be an adult. And we understand that brothers, I mean not brothers, but people in general have gone through a lot of collapses. The Roman collapse, the Crusades, World War I, World War II, Great Depression. These are just modern examples. But even in the ancient world, there's been all types of things where the world quote unquote goes to shit, right? You have to be very careful of this mindset because a lot of y'all are younger. Me, you know, I'm 30. Some of y'all are 21, 25, some of y'all older, 35. And y'all think like, man, I have my life to live. The reality of things is that I'm not gonna be able to live the life that I saw my parents and my grandparents live. You can't have this mindset because this is not a spiritual mindset. This is a carnal mindset where you're trying to essentially save and preserve the life that you thought that you should live. Let's get these scriptures so that way y'all can rest on this. This is 2 Ezra chapter 16 and 37. It says, behold, the plagues draw near and are not slack. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child come forth, they slack not a moment. So this is the parable of the kingdom and how the woman, which is Israel, would have birthing pains. The world would have birthing pains before the beautiful, restored, renewed baby would come onto the earth, which is the kingdom of Yahawah's kingdom, right? So until the baby is delivered, the pains, the birthing pains that a woman would go through would not stop. They'd only get harder and harder with greater contractions and greater pains and greater pains. We're living through that now. These are the beginning of the pains. These are the beginning of the sorrows, right? It says, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth. Yahawah is saying that the plagues will not slack. They're not gonna just get easier and lighter. They're gonna get harder and harder. And the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side, every sector, every industry, every class, every nation is going to go through these sorrows. It says, oh my people, hear my word, make you ready to your battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So it's telling you, get ready, get prepared. You understood the day was going to come, and you have to be as a pilgrim. What is a pilgrim? A pilgrim is somebody who's willing to move and journey and leave whatever state or whatever livelihood they have to continue to move forward according to the will of Yahawah. I wanted to get this. It says, what does it mean to be as pilgrims on the earth according to the Bible? It says to be a pilgrim on the earth according to the Bible means to live as a sojourner or a journeyer with a focus on the heavenly home, not on worldly pursuits. This involves having a spiritual purpose, a mindset of being an alien and stranger in this world, and living a life guided by the Most High's values to glorify Him and serve others. So this is speaking of just in a general sense, but the main thing is that you will be a journeyer and you will focus on the heavenly home and not your worldly home, right? So when you have this mindset of the world is going to shit when it's my turn to be an adult, you can't think, woe is me, the world is ending. What you have to tell yourself is that the Most High is calling us. It's our time to really prove our faith. That's just all it is. It's really what it comes down to. It says, he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. So whatever you're buying, your house, your cars, your clothes, victuals, whatever, you have to be prepared to lose them. It says, he who occupies merchandise as he has no profit by it. The things that you're keeping, your valuables, your games, your clothes and things like that, be willing to let them go. Just giving them away. Because once you leave them from your house, people are going to come in and take it. It says, and he that buildeth, as he that shall not dwell therein. So those of y'all who have plans and builds for a vision and you know, a business and a family, you may not be able to see that through because of the times that we're in. He that soweth as if he should not reap. The things that you're planting, the seeds that you're planting for your future, you're probably not going to be able to reap the fruits of your labor on this side. So also, he that planteth the vineyard is he that shall not gather the grapes. They that be married as they that shall get no children. So if you're in a state of marriedness and the Most High is blessing you in whatever avenue, shape, and form, that marriedness is going to go away and you're going to go into a time of sorrow. And they that marry not as the widowers. So those who want to be tied and find the blessing of a relationship as if you will never find one. And therefore, they that labor in vain. And essentially, the people who have jobs, brothers who have jobs, making money, whatever, your labor is more than likely going to be in vain because you're going to be replaced, you know? So it is what it is, brothers. You know, it is what it is. That's all I can really tell y'all. This is just a time. This is the Most High's will, essentially, for you to get the kingdom. And the elder was telling us the other day, it really just comes down to how much you really want the kingdom, how much love for the kingdom and dreams and aspiration you have for the kingdom. You know how that dude Eric Thomas would say, you want to succeed the same way you want to breathe? Well, you have to want the kingdom the same way you want to breathe, because that's what's truly going to give you life. This is all temporary. This is all for a moment, and it can be gone. But the kingdom can never go away. So whatever it takes for you to get there, if this is what you have to go through, this is what it have to go through. You got to be honest with yourself. This is the path that we're going to have to take. That decision is coming sooner rather than later. And only those who gird up their loins like a man are going to make it through. And remember the words of Hamashiach. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So again, iniquity, wickedness, darkness will abound. The love of the Most High of many is going to become cold and non-existent. But only those who endure will be saved. And I'm going to end it on these scriptures right here. It says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So the reason why it's November 10th or whatever day it is, I don't even know, November 8th, while the year is going by so quickly, because the Most High is literally shortening days because the tribulation is going to be so dark and so wicked. So Lord willing, this lesson's edifying. I know this is a hard pill to swallow. But, you know, the scripture says, with much wisdom comes much sorrow. It's better for y'all to have wisdom and sorrow about the reality of this world compared to being in delusion and marriedness and have your soul be taken by Shaitan and his forces. So it is what it is. So I give all praises to the Most High, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Till next time, it's the brother Ash Ibad signing out.